YouTube? This is Techie Jess coming at ya on my 5th Q&A. So first of all, I want to address my last week's Q&A. That is probably going to be the most angry Q&A I will ever do. Ever. And I promise you that. I was really irritated that day. And to be honest with you, that's not who I am. And I saw, because I have to watch myself, right? Like I have to watch the videos. And I don't know, like I'm even contemplating taking it down because that's really not who, like part of it obviously was me, but the anger side, I'm not an angry person. And just that day, like everything was going wrong in regards to everything shutting down and people leaving rude comments and just aggravation. And it got to me and it turned me into this totally different person. So I want to apologize to everybody about that video because I didn't mean for it to come out that way. Do you know what I mean? Kind of, somewhat, sort of. I'm sorry about that. That won't ever happen again. I'm trying to look at things differently in regards to hate and trolls and the internet, because the internet, though, is awesome and is filled with glorious stuff, there's also always going to be people that are negative and people that hate. And I felt like I was extremely negative, and I don't want to be that. So I'm going to work on ignoring it. Just ignore it. And whether that means me having to delete it and put it out of my mind and block that person, or just leave it, get rid of it. I'm going to figure out how to do that. So I apologize again to everybody. Most angry Q&A I will have, I promise, for the future. Okay guys, so let's get into the first question.
What is your favorite YouTuber?
My favorite YouTuber. This is very difficult, guys. In terms of comedian, I would definitely have to say Tobuscus. I watch every single cute one fail. Awesome. Just absolutely love it every time. Never fails. Well, it does fail, obviously, but not as a whole. Favorite YouTuber tech reviewer? I don't even think I have a favorite one, guys. Like, it would probably be a tie between Ty's iPhone Help, TLD, and probably Soldier Knows Best. I like all of those channels, but then I like John for Lakers too. Like, I watch all of them. Wilson's Tech 1, all you guys. Like, I watch all the really big tech reviewers, as well as some of the ones that are just getting on their way like me. I watch pretty much everything. Everybody I'm subscribed to, I usually do watch their videos.
Do you like cars and car tech?
This is actually a funny question, because probably none of you know this, actually. I don't even have my G2. I don't like driving. I find it very terrifying. I can drive, obviously, because, like, physically drive. I have my G1, and I have been out driving. But personally, do I like it? No, because I've almost gotten in quite a few accidents, and it's because of other people. I'm terrified of other people hitting me. It also doesn't really help that I learned on a standard, which is a lot more difficult to use than an automatic car, and I probably would feel safer driving an automatic car than a standard car. I will drive eventually, I have to, but if I had a choice and I was loaded, I would totally pay somebody to drive me around everywhere because I'm terrified of driving. In terms of do I like cars and car tech? Sure. If I could drive, I'd love car tech. For sure, I'd love it, but not really. I'm not really that into cars. Personally, my view on cars is, yeah, you can have a pretty car and everything, but I'd rather have a car that runs well and is safe, and that when I'm behind the wheel, I feel safe.
What's the color of your eyes?
Can you guys see my eyes? I know I have my glasses on all the time, but my eyes are actually like a grayish, bluish color. That's the color of my eyes.
What are your thoughts on e-readers?
I actually think e-readers are awesome, and I really wish that I liked reading. But I really don't, guys. I don't read a lot. I don't have a lot of time. Like, probably the extent of stories I read are for narratives and stuff with school. Other than that, like, I read, like I said before, I read anatomy books a lot for school. But I have no need for an e-reader. You know what I mean? Like, what would I use it for? Really? I wouldn't buy books. It would just sit on my table or whatever. That new one that's coming out, though, looks pretty sweet. But I can't, the new Kindle Fire, I think it's called Kindle Fire. but we can't get it in Canada. It's not being released here. So I probably won't physically be able to get my hands on one. But the price tag is unbelievable, and I would definitely want to check one out just simply because it has more features than just being an e-reader. Other than that, like e-readers like the Kobo and the Nook, I think that they're awesome products, especially for people that read all the time, just simply because I've physically used them, and I like that it looks like paper. I like that it looks like a book, and it doesn't hurt your eyes with the actual screen. So I'm a fan. I like them. Would I use one? Not really. What do you think the future holds for Apple now with Steve Jobs passing? I think that Apple's future is carved in stone. I think that it's going to be going on a path that Steve has actually set out for the company. Though Steve, comparing me and Steve, okay? I'm an illustrator. I do artwork. If you look at it from a tech point of view and an art point of view, he kind of had both. But he didn't necessarily have artistic talent like I have. He had artistic talent in terms of imagination and in terms of vision. And he was great at marketing. That was Steve's main skill, was being able to market to a huge audience and just make products that before were tried by Microsoft, by Creative, certain companies like that. To get them off their feet, they couldn't do it. And Steve brought this whole new marketing system to how Apple should be, and it became a huge success with the iPod, and now it's gone to the iPhone, and now more people are buying Macs, and Apple's market share is huge. And I think that Steve has really built a legacy for his company, and it's without a doubt that Steve actually carved the future. I'm almost positive that he knew what was going on with his body and his system, and could feel that something was wrong. And coming from a family where I have lost a parent, I wish that it was more planned. It really wasn't planned. My mom had cancer. She had it for about actually she got it once, and then I didn't know because I was so young, and she got it removed because my mom had melanoma, which is skin cancer. She got it removed. She had some of it on her back. But she's stubborn and she didn't want to go to the doctor. So it came back. And it was about 5 years later that it came back. And it came back so fast and so badly that it attacked her whole entire system. And we all thought she was getting better at a point, and then she didn't get better. And it just happened very, very quickly and very suddenly. And with Steve, I think that he kind of knew something was going down, that he wasn't going to last much longer. And that's why he stepped down. He stepped down probably in preparation, probably to get his company and his things in order so that Apple could go on further. And if you look at it from the standpoint of his company being a piece of artwork, like me, like when I'm planning a piece of artwork or a commission, the first thing I do is take out my sketchbook. It's to set your mind in motion. It's to do mind mapping, to explore what's inside your mind, write things down. And I would not be surprised if one day a journal comes out of Steve's that he actually wrote everything down himself, because creative minds have to filter their mentality into something. And I'm sure that all of his ideas have been taken down. He's been thinking things for years upon years, and I think it'll live on forever through Apple. I think it will go, not necessarily will it only be Steve's thoughts, but it will be greatly influenced through him and what his vision was for the company. And also, Apple isn't just Steve. Apple wasn't just Steve Jobs. It was a whole group of people. And Steve's legacy will live on through them, and they will do their best to continue what Steve has built.
Do you like French toast?
Of course I like French toast. Hello!
What TV shows do you watch?
TV shows. I don't watch a lot of TV, guys, but what I do take the time, like, I do watch TV. It's actually kind of funny because I don't really sit in front of the TV, because usually I'm drawing, I'm doing homework, or I'm editing. So a lot of the times what I'll have open is I'll kind of have a little box on my screen open of a TV show or whatever. in regards to what TV shows that would be, I watched Dexter. I'm a huge Dexter fan. As you can see in the back there, I have tons of movies and tons of TV shows. So I love TV. It's not a question of me loving it, but since I, in the summer when I started getting my channel started, my TV has become you guys. It's become people on YouTube. Like, really, I watch every day. The first thing I do when I get home, I check my sub box and I watch videos. For my first hour, I take an hour out of my day every day to just watch YouTube videos. And sometimes I'm drawing at the same time, but regardless, I take an hour out of my day and I watch everything in my sub box. And probably the first thing I look for is actually Ty and Gray's vlogs. I've been a huge fan of Ty and Gray's vlogs for a really long time now, and I watch them all the time. So that's probably the biggest thing I watch in terms of TV. But I love Dexter. I love Grey's Anatomy. Oh my god, do I love Grey's Anatomy. And I love Private Practice. I watch a lot of TV. Technically, it's just I don't watch it when it comes out on TV. Like, if I have time, I download or whatever, or I stream it. Usually I stream it, and I watch an episode here and there. That's pretty much what I do in regards to TV.
Who is your favorite artist and what inspires you?
What is my favorite artist and favorite painter? This is very difficult, guys, but I'm going to go with my basics and where I started in my life and who I admired most, because that's where all school starts when you first begin. And that is actually going to be Leonardo da Vinci. His sketches really inspired me. And when I was younger, actually, I was left-handed and I drew things weird, and my letters would sometimes be backwards. And my mom would always talk to me about how Da Vinci wrote everything backwards so he could keep things away from the church and all of his ideas a secret, and nobody else could really read them. And then when he was ready to read them, he would put a mirror beside his notebook and everything would flip over. And I always found that incredibly fascinating. And a lot of my projects in school and stuff were based off of him. And I don't know, Leonardo da Vinci is an inspiration, I think, to anybody, not necessarily even just an artist in itself, but he was one of the first artists that is really, really well known in terms of not only the way he drew things and the way he rendered things and the way he explored. Like, he was one of the first people to ever see the insides, the innards of a body. He was the beginning of anatomy. Like, he's huge, you know what I mean? Like, even with inventions, like, he's probably even an inspiration, or was an inspiration, to Steve Jobs. I mean, come on, man. Like, Leonardo da Vinci carved a path. He carved a path for future generations and future inventors and artists, and influences me. And I don't know, I think he's awesome. See, you guys, with your questions, awesome questions. You're making me go on forever because I love to talk, if you haven't noticed. But and my inspiration for drawing, I think a really big thing for inspiration is to try and inspire yourself, to explore your mind as an artist. Because if you come up with things that have already been done, like, I'm told all the time to research artists and to look through pieces that other artists have done. And that will always influence us, guys. Like, it's like advertising. We're influenced by everything around us. And artwork will always influence me personally. But I think the most important thing is to explore who you are as an individual in terms of being an artist, and what makes your heart skip a beat, and what makes your mind just race, and just, you know what I mean? Like, makes everything solo out just on that one thing. And find yourself. And I think that's what all artists really try to do, is try to find themselves. And that's not necessarily a style of drawing. Everybody has their kind of take on things. But the most important thing as an artist and as an illustrator is to be able to go down any path and add a bit of yourself into it. And being inspired really has to do with what you find fascinating. And I want you guys to do this, actually. I want you guys to do this when you're doing a project, writing an essay, doing anything like that. Explore your mind. Explore what comes to your mind first. And, like, a good example of that is even Toby Turner. If you've ever watched any of his vlogs, he'll get from kitten and end up at muffins. And it'll be like, what the deuce? How did, you know what I mean? How did he get from point A to point B? But our mind creates connections, and we all have that ability to do that. We all have a level of creativity and we all have minds of our own. So definitely keep that in mind when you're writing something. Try to inspire yourself. Don't necessarily look at other people's stuff to inspire you.
What classes do you take in college?
Classes I take in college. Okay, I'll go over this really quick. I'll try anyway because it's going on for a long time. But I have on Mondays, I have a class called Mixed Media, which is dealing with ink, scratch board, pretty much anything thrown at you, even like a garbage bag, pretty much anything that you can physically come up with. It's experimenting with those materials and adding them into your artwork. So it's to explore yourself. My second class I have that day, I have painting, which is not only painting, it is a lot of pastel work and a lot of just anatomy in general. I have to paint the body. I have to paint portraits all the time. Tuesday, I have a class called concept art, which I have twice a week actually, because that's my main course. I have it Tuesdays and Thursdays. Wednesdays, I have, oh God, what do I have Wednesdays? Oh, my brain. Electronic media, which is digital painting, which you guys all know I love, that's my favorite. But anyway, I love that class, except it's at 8 a.m., which blows. And on Fridays, I have life drawing, which is actually probably competing for top spot right now in what I love, because I love exploring the human body and just understanding the way muscles move. And I don't know, it really intrigues me. And I love sitting there with a piece of charcoal and this huge blank pad of paper and just drawing for hours. I don't know, I really love that. And then my second class I have that day is data management, I think, or data concepts, relations, something like that. A class I don't really care about, but I have to do because I'm in a BA program and I have to take academic courses and it sucks, but I have to do it. And my teacher's actually pretty awesome. I had her for psychology last year and she's just really fun and loves Apple, and we talk about apps all the time. And anyway, yeah. So yeah, that's what I take in college. So that about sums up my Q&A, guys. I've got a couple of things that are new in my life. I recently, if you guys aren't following me on Twitter, definitely follow me. The link is down there. It's at TechieJess. Follow me there for future news, because I probably will just announce the giveaways on there rather than just doing a YouTube video, but we'll see. But anyway, I got partnered, which was crazy amazeballs, and also that means that more content is going to be coming out to you guys, because I love you guys so much, and because, to truth be told, I absolutely love doing this. This is something that, other than art, makes my heart skip a beat. And I know that sounds lame, and you guys are probably all like, Jess, Techie Jess, that's lame sauce, and quote me, but I actually do love this, and I love you guys for sticking with me. So, without further ado, guys, Toodles!